Good morning everybody, welcome back to my channel, Fishing AT, and I'm fishing back at Abbotsbury. It's Monday the 13th or 14th sorry of November. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning. High tide was a couple of hours ago, low tide now is going to be at about 10 past 3 in the afternoon. There's a bit of a swell running. So no wind at the moment, but the forecast is for it to pick up, and winds develop in the afternoon, which will probably stop the fishing probably early evening, because the swell is going to pick up quite bad, I would have thought. The Wind Guru app had it at about 1.3 meters, which is probably what it is about at the moment. So it's going to get worse as we head into evening. Anyway, two rods are out.
I've got my usual sort of tactics, pulley pennels, size 1/0 with rag and squid on the red rod. I've had a bite on that rod already, and I've got a bite on the right hand rod, which has got a 2/0 pulley pennel with a chunk of bluey on it. So good signs at the moment. The weather is pretty threatening. Dark skies, but fingers crossed that that passes by. It is due to rain a little bit, and then hopefully a clear patch this afternoon. Lots of people fishing here, which is nice to see, so hopefully we'll be able to get some fish out on the camera.
So baits today, we've got ragworm, blow lug, very small blueys, and squid. And that bait today was provided by Real Fun Fishing at Portishead. So thanks guys for the bait, good quality as usual, thanks. Well, I said on my intro I was getting bites on the bluey, and when I wound it in there was this, well, whiting, 9-inch whiting on the trace, which is great, so that beats a blank, and we're up and running. Well, getting plenty of bites on the worm. Got a lug pulley on the left hand rod, and something that's been tapping away on there. The weather's closed in a little bit, sort of a bit of rain coming in now, and the wind's picking up a little bit as per the forecast, but the fish are biting, which is a good thing. And obviously had that whiting on a bluey section, so yeah, it's okay. It's just how this tide at low water, you can't really get down to the water's edge to cast, obviously, so as the tide goes out you're going to be casting off the top of the bank here, so it's really about how much distance you can get, and then really about the impact of the wave action you can see on the line, such that you have to be careful that the pebbles don't go over your line and obviously cause you to break off. I'm going to just bring this one in because it's been tapping away. It's very small. If there's anything there, probably another whiting. Actually, looks like a pout. Yeah, it's a pouting. So a tiny pouting. Let's see if we can get him back. Hopefully he will survive. Fingers crossed. I just lost a good fish in the surf, dropped off on the way in. Got bites here on the right hand rod. It's still got the bluey on there. The fish I lost was bigger than a whiting, and that I had earlier on the pout. It was a good fight. Just lost it in the backwash there, where the waves are just drawing back on themselves, and there's a little lip on the pebbles there as well. So a bit of a washing machine got stuck in there and lost him. Lad down there just pulled in a reasonable conger. So there's good to see that there's fish here, plenty of bites. Fingers crossed for a cod. Slack line then. See what we got. Getting in that ledge there, that's where I lost the last one. Big fat pout. Foul looked as well, look. Anyway, they'll count on the bluey. We'll put him back and go again. So I haven't just cast out rag and squid pulley on the red rod here, the left hand rod. Bite straight away. Looks like little whiting or pout bites. Plenty of fish in the sea. It's very coloured, the water, which is on our side. Tackle today is basically the same tackle I've always really used predominantly. Both Daiwa rods, Daiwa Tournament 14-foot rod on the left, red one, and a Daiwa Saltist 14-foot on the right, with Penn mag 525s. So headwind today, so my casting is being challenged into the headwind, but obviously getting it out far enough that I can get to where some fish are, not necessarily big fish, but certainly it's been good fun the first couple of hours. 2 pouting, a whiting, and I dropped a reasonable fish in the surf, so that's a good start to the session. Often I fish Chesil and I don't start catching until the light goes down, so I'm happy to be busy, even if it is with little stuff. Just on the bait front, the sort of when I'm fishing a worm bait, typically 7 to 9 inches of worm, so I've got 3 or 4 lug on there, and I don't tend to strip off the old bait. I just push it up and leave it on the top of the pennel rig, and just put new bait underneath, and find that the fish, if the fish are feeding, they'll take the bait off anyway. So so typically quite large baits with the swell and the surf and the colour of the water that we've got. So as I said, fishing at Abbotsbury, I walked up towards the Dragon's Teeth. You might be able to see them just at the top there. There was relatively big space here when I arrived, but obviously people have filled in around me, as it were. So that's about a 1.3 kilometre walk. That's enough for me today. I think I didn't want to go too far just in case the conditions got bad, and obviously had to sort of make an early retreat. But yeah, plenty of people fishing. The wind is still relatively calm actually. It's meant to be getting up to 15 mile an hour, blowing a gusting 20, and then the real heavy stuff coming in about 8-10 o'clock tonight. Well, I was just filming a little section about what was in my tackle box because it was getting pretty quiet. I looked up on my rod, I had a stonking bite, and I got this nice cod at about 50 centimetres. Put up a good fight. So basically what we came for. Really chuffed. And well, he'll be coming home and we'll be having some chips with him. So just a little section on really what I bring fishing with me. I tend to bring spear leads. I've got 4 traces obviously made up, and I've got about another half dozen leads, typically 170 to 210 grams, mainly grip leads. I've got some trace wire, spear elastic, tape for any general odds and sods things, a bit of super glue if I lose something on my tip ring or whatever. Power gum for stop knots. I bring weigh scales. I've also got a sling in my bag. Sunglasses, which I won't need today. First aid kit, disgorger bar, a couple of sets of pliers, one long nose, 1 pair of snips, a couple of baiting needles, and a pair of long nose sort of disgorging pliers. So that's essentially they tackle all in one Tupperware box. And then the only other thing I have really tackle wise is a box of goodies where, well, the floating beads, I don't need those. Lots of beads. It's full of water, my box. Swivels, etc. Bait stops, knot puller, well, lead lifts that I don't use, sort of standoff ledger, rig items, these things, whatever they're called. Lead releases, and that's it really from the tackle. And then I have basically all my traces are made up in a rig wallet. So I bring my spare line, so I use Trabucco line for rig body, typically 80 to 90 pounds, a 0.7, 0.8 millimeter line, and then various rigs. So here I've got sort of clip rigs, pulley rigs, turn that around, size 1 pulleys, 3/0 pulleys, up and overs, loads of pulley blanks. I make them up in advance, 2/0 pulleys, which I tend to use predominantly, and then all my hooks basically, but I very rarely do I need them, so I tend to use obviously all my traces ready made. And that's essentially what I bring, with the exception of 1 spare reel. Today I've got 3 reels today, the 2 on the rods and the spare. I've got a spare Abbotsbury 6500, and that's my that's basically my tackle. Oh, sorry, and I also forgot basically fish sizes, so all the common sort of fish sizes, fish that I may or may not catch, I bring those, and a tape measure. So these are, I think, English Federation size, minimum sizes for fish that I've got off the website. Well, it's almost low tide, and some pretty horrible weather coming in by the looks of things. We've had a nice bright, well, reasonably clear spell for about an hour or so. Nothing since I had that cod at 20 past 2, so about an hour before low tide. So he weighed 2 pounds and was 48 centimeters long. Yeah, bites have sort of slowed up a little bit now, so haven't seen much. Having said that, I think, oh no, that might have been the waves there. Thought I had a bite on the left hand rod. So still obviously up on the top here, the waves, even though it's low tide, are still sometimes come in 3/4 of the way up to the bank here. And I have been sort of carefully watching the waves when I need to cast, and marking where the sort of biggest waves are coming, so that I don't get caught out. So I think, but once the tide starts turning, then we'll be casting solely from the top of the bank. The thing I do with my phone is basically using the notes function. I just take notes of when I've cast and what I've actually baited up with, so it gives me an idea of how long the rig's been out, because my memory is not the best. So very simply, 1455 rag squid pulley on the red rod, and on the blue rod 1447 a bluey pulley. So just simple messages for me, and when I go home I can look at this really and see what baits we're catching. So the cod, for example, was on the rag and squid pulley, and I can see whether certain baits outfish other baits, and that's just using the notes function on my own. Oh, I'm not sure you can see that. There's a big murmuration of starlings, I think, just over the top of the bank there.
Well, loads of seagulls flying in because people get packed up and gone. Conditions are worsening, so I'm not sure how long I'll be here with the current sea state. It's a beautiful end to the day. There's no rain, just very strong winds now. Fishing is slow, so since the turn of the tide, really just had, let's say, a couple of small pouting, nothing else really, and just enjoying the being out in the very fresh air.
Hopefully you can hear me. The sunset's lovely, red sky at night, shepherd's delight, although I think there's a big storm coming. Glorious end to the day here. Just more pouting really, that's all that's been caught. Wind is obviously still very strong and increasing. I'll probably give it another couple of hours at most. I think it's 5 o'clock. Fishing to dark for maybe a couple of hours just to see how it goes. Don't want to, you can see the waves, quite large waves here now. So yeah, just the one decent fish so far, the cod, so that's made the journey all worthwhile. But just lovely end to the day here. Again, if I don't get a chance, thanks to everybody who likes and subscribes to my channel, really appreciate it. Hopefully now as we're coming into winter we'll be able to carry on doing some videos, so we'll keep going, try and get out every week if I can. Obviously that's weather depending. Well, here's another chunk, which is taking a lug pulley, cracking bite, only just cast out. Probably about the same size as the last one, so that's another nice cod. Also had a cracking bite on the other rod at the same time, so it was really good. So really chuffed with that. Let's get another bait out and go again. Well, I suppose it wouldn't be a session without a doggy, so been getting lots of sort of bites and missing them. I dropped a good fish in the surf, but it might have been a doggy. But anyway, here's our favourite species. Let's get him unhooked and put him back. Well, it's coming to the end of the session now, and I'm just going to gut these two cods. So the second cod was £2 9 ounces, 50 centimetres. First one was £2, 48 centimetres. Still been quite slow. It's been very hard actually to 2-hole bottom. The leads have been breaking out, 210 gram leads breaking out because of the wave action now. So it's 7 o'clock, so I've got the last cast out, and I'll be packing up and heading back to Chepstow, 2-hour drive. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. A couple of cod, the inevitable dogfish, a few pouting and a whiting has made it a nice session. I've learned a little bit about what's fishable, what's not really here. So that's good for me for future sessions here at Chesil. And again, thanks for subscribing and liking the videos, and hopefully we'll see you all again soon. Take care everyone, tight lines, bye now.